If you had to name your mic, what would the name of your mic be?
Name of my mic?
Yeah.
The mic that I have in front of me right now?
Yeah.
Fucking hairy bitch.
Hairy bitch.
Yeah, he's too big and too hairy. So he's just all around a fucking asshole.
It's your chosen way, though.
I already used all my swear words for this season.
We have to become rated R now. And only exclusive. Cheers.
Cheers, baby. I mean, Christine.
Oh, yeah. I was actually thinking about that today.
Yeah, me too.
Damn, how do we make this so that it's not all about us? I have to call you Hector.
Technically, it's all about you.
But you're the host.
Yeah, I know, but like,
do we actually watch Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon for the guests, or do we watch it for their kind of stuff too?
Does it not vary? Yeah, it could be both. Why can't it be both?
Yeah, that's true. But who do you keep coming back for? The host. I think people are here for you. Come on.
I mean, no, that's
conceited.
okay. All right,
You're so conceited.
Come on, stop. Terrible. All right, well, great way to start. I'm conceited, as we've all just decided. So can we talk about me for about an hour? Is that okay?
Yeah. Oh, so
cool?
Is this like a reversal interview? I've been saying I wanted to do it.
Well, no, it's not no. I'm still the host. All right, I still run the show, but it's the show about me where guests come to interview me.
That's actually a really good idea. We should do like a mini series. We should do a mini series where people actually do that. That should be extras, actually. Like little short, little mini interviews where the guest does it for you.
I actually like that a lot. We'll do that when we get there. When we get,
when we get at least 50?
100 episodes
50
deep.
50 patrons.
100 episodes
we're almost
deep.
10.
What do you mean 10?
We're almost 10 episodes. This is episode
7.
Is it? Oh, lucky number
it is 7. Lucky number 7.
That's my lucky number.
Is that your favorite number?
I have a really big affinity to 21.
21.
Too,
okay.
Because that used to be my basketball number. But
Ooh,
7,
number.
21, and 14, because that's my birthday. Those are like my 3 numbers I like to stick to. I also really like 5s for some reason.
So
5s are
5
great.
numbers, because you said those are your 3 numbers, so you like the number 3, and then you have also like 5.
No, you like the number 3.
Yeah, but you have 3 numbers that you like, so in a way, don't you like the number 3 too?
I feel like you're trying to incept me to...
It's a little meta. So you played basketball
in
high school? Just high school?
And junior high. What's junior high,
Middle
actually?
school?
I never called it that. Yes, middle school.
Junior high.
I started in 6th grade. My parents actually forced me. Did I ever tell you this story?
Yeah,
they forced me into every single thing ever, which is, I guess, great at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I did dance from like age of 3 till the age of like 14. So about like over 10 years. And then basketball. Then my parents forced me into choir.
I did choir.
Softball.
But I wasn't forced, so.
Softball as well. I'm trying to think what else they made me do. They almost got me into track. I think I would have been better at track. That's like a long thing that you can like just keep going at.
I mean, I feel like it's...
They got a whole bunch of stuff too, like javelin.
Yeah.
Jumping,
oh, for sure. Yeah, if you're including all that stuff, track and field.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine if I went to the Olympics for that? World's shortest.
Be sick.
Track runner. Just see me with speeding.
World shortest. You just spilled
Pull it together.
What's that thing called when they stick the pole in the ground and they use the pole vaulting?
Yes. No. Yeah. You got it.
Pole
long
vaulting.
jump is when you're just doing it in the sand. Yeah, you just jump one. Yeah. That looks cool though.
Looks fun.
I'd be like a bullet.
My favorite thing about watching them is their startup, because they have really big strides to start, and then they're like, mm-hmm. It's really funny, actually. It's very formed. It's like very like, they do that every time. Like
I want to learn the physics of how their body goes from the ground, and the pole is straight to bendy.
It's like bent.
It's so,
but it's
them in the air.
Bent so aggressively. Like it's bent like it should just snap every time.
It's like this.
Yeah, it's like
it's
that.
Not straight anymore.
And then they like straighten up their bodies
like a missile
up, and then over a pole. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Who who did that first? It was like,
we all know.
A pole. It was like, this is my stick. I'm going to do this over the river.
I'm going to use it to launch myself.
It's hilarious. Very efficient,
as high
though.
As
if you had a good stick, you could do that anywhere. You wouldn't have to jump over anything. You could just like stick over everything.
True. You don't even need transportation at that point. You just bring your stick and you want to launch yourself. To work. Yeah.
Just stick to work. So you played basketball in high school. Were you good? Were you good at high school basketball?
I mean, I got MVP.
MVP, there you go. That's all you need to hear. You got MVP in high school.
Yeah, and what's funny is the first time we got a championship. The first time I got MVP, it was also the first year. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. It's his first time. First time I played basketball that year was the year actually I got MVP. But because it was my first year, for some reason I had to share my MVP with someone else. So they gave me and another girl MVP, and I was like, oh,
cut the trophy in half.
Could you imagine? We do like a wishbone kind of thing where we had just one big trophy and rip it.
Whoever gets the biggest part is
the actual MVP. Well, she was like almost 6 feet, so I feel like she would have won. But yeah, no, we got our own little baby trophies.
That's cute though. I love that.
Yeah.
What was your highest scoring game?
I didn't keep track of that, but there was one game where I went off on the 3-point line. And you know, like when you make one really great shot and the crowd just like gives you all the energy you ever need. This is definitely how performers must feel.
Yeah,
like that
for sure.
high.
Even basketball players though, they get that. They get high off.
That's true.
The crowd, yeah.
Duh, that would make sense. Mm-hmm. But there was one game where I think I made like 5 threes in a game, and every time I'd be like, what the? Am I like on fire? That was definitely one of my best scoring games. I don't know if it's the best, but that was one of those games where I was like, yo, I'm on something 15 else.
Points.
Not including anything else.
Or was that junior?
No, that was junior high. That was junior high.
That was middle school?
I think that was 8th grade.
In a middle school game, scoring 5 threes, you're the best player on the court, hands down.
And what's
like,
funny,
everybody's like, okay, we're not
complete
winning.
Accident too. It was like one of those games where the first one I was like, let me just did it, and I was like, okay. And then crowd goes crazy. The second one, I was like, okay, we got to keep this going because I have like fire in me right now. Yeah. That was probably one of my fun games.
You're still consistently one of the best shooters on the court whenever you play, right?
Listen, I need to get my shot back, and then
you still got it though. You got a better shot than most people, even better than me. I think your shot's better than mine. Mm-hmm. It's true. It's not saying much, but it's true. What made you stop playing basketball in high school?
Well, my high school was one of those high schools where it was very sports driven.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like if you didn't take it seriously, or you needed to take it seriously
to be a part of the team and stuff.
Yeah, because everybody was taking it seriously. Mm-hmm. Like especially our men's
WNBA and stuff.
No, well, our high school made some NBA players. Like we had Sue Bird, we had Lamar Odom. We had like 5 NBA players and then like a couple of WNBA players. But yeah, so our there was actually a championship game that I went to where it was sponsored by Nike.
Wow, that's sick.
And it was huge, and they gave our players like whatever, Nike sponsored everything. And,
what are you big players there?
What's his name? You know Walt Clyde Frazier?
Yeah, of course.
He came and he was part of. It was crazy. So that's what I'm saying. Like it was taken to it was like a really big sports school, and I just felt like I enjoyed basketball. But at that point, my parents had kind of pushed me enough for I was like, okay, well, they really want me to be a basketball player. I just don't think I want to do this long term. Like, it's not fun anymore. So if it's not fun anymore, then I don't really want to put so much time and effort into this, because if it's not fun, then why do it, you know?
It would have been so cool to see you as a WNBA player.
No, they're so underappreciated. They barely make any money.
I know, but like, I mean, that's why you gotta love the game. But like, it would have been cool. Is what I'm saying.
No. I'm happy I stopped. It's just a little side thing.
That's fair.
It's like my hidden talent. Remember that question we had, like, oh, what's each other's hidden talent?
You're a shooter.
I would say
you're lethal.
athletic skills, mostly in basketball though.
Yeah.
Just
you're athletic though.
Happens to be.
But yeah, you got a shot. Yeah.
A secret thing.
People you shoot.
You wouldn't expect.
No, first time I saw you shoot, I was like, oh, you have a form. Like you shoot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not used to that. Whenever I'm like, let's play basketball, and if they don't know, it's usually pretty bad. But no, you got it. What made you want to become a doctor? Because for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure you do, this is Dr. Christine Arquero. What's your titles at the end?
PharmD right now.
PharmD.
And after, we'll see in a month, it's going to be PharmD
passed the test.
BCGP.
BCGP. PharmD BCGP. Don't ask me what that means. But if I had to guess, it'd be...
What's PharmD?
PharmD is... Pharmacist. Pharmacy.
It's technically doctor of pharmacy, so it's like my degree.
Oh, that's annoying. Okay,
so essentially, it's like, you know, like when you go to a physician's office, they have their name, and then it's like, comma, MD, that's their degree.
Yeah, MD. So like doctor stands for, D stands for doctor.
No, medical degree. It's your degree.
Oh,
so
pharmacy
PharmD
degree.
is my degree.
Pharmacy degree. Okay.
Yeah.
And then BCGP
is...
Come
on, we talked about
this. BCGP.
What did I specialize in? It's the only thing I specialize in.
No, I know.
You won't get the B, C, or the P. But what's the G?
The G. Well, the G is gynecology. I'm kidding. The G is gastrointelligence. I
feel like you're trying to think of as many scientific G words.
The G is it's such a weird word.
Come on. We're breaking up if you don't.
Oh man.
That's it. Get out of my house.
It's old people stuff, but I forgot the technical term for old people stuff.
So BCGP is board certified geriatric.
Geriatrics.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking G, so I was already stuck.
You got the G.
Well, geriatrics.
Yeah.
Board certified geriatrics.
Pharmacist.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
You like old people?
I love old people.
Me too.
They're so sweet.
Really sweet.
Don't you think? They come into the office and they're like, you know, like they don't go to work anymore. Mm-hmm. So like anything they do day to day is like what makes them happy.
Yeah.
And they just want to talk to people, which I think is really sweet. So you get into like these conversations like, what's your favorite thing to do now? They just want to go off and tell you everything about their kids and stuff. So yeah, it's probably the sweetest group of people, I think, to get into. Unless you like kids. I feel like kids are probably great, too.
Yeah, but they're both kind of similar, though, because they're both, like...
Aww.
They both are very kind and kind of are just there to be happy.
I thought you were going to talk about their mind.
No. Like, they're kind and they're there to be happy. They're both at the opposite ends of life, and I feel like they're both similar in a way. Like, when you're a kid, you're not really aware of the world, and you kind of you don't have a lot of stress or struggles because you kind of, like, you're in your own little world, you know? You create it. And then when you're older, at that point, if you've lived a good life, you've created your own little world that is like you can be young still. Like you can feel like you're happy and can do things that you just want to do. Like that's all that matters at that point. So
it's also in the sense similar. Like they become kids again.
Yeah.
If you think about like their care, like their kids actually end up taking care of them, which makes them kind of like kids again.
Yeah, sometimes if it's severe, you know, it's like they really do regress.
You just got to take care of them.
Yeah, but it's sweet. I work at Apple now, and it was really. I remember this lady coming in and she was like she was like upgrading her Apple Watch because she already has one, and she was like, "Yeah, I really like it because I just go on walks, and I just like to listen to my music when I'm going on a walk or listen to like podcasts and stuff, and I get the the cellular thing so that I can like do it without taking my phone, and I just like going on walks." And I was like, "That's sweet."
Oh,
it's nice to use your Apple Watch. And I told her, I was like, the Apple Watches that have fall detection. So if you ever fall, it can actually call the emergency services for you if you're not okay. It'll ask you if you're okay. Mm-hmm. If you say you're okay, you can get up.
I tell my patients that because cutest
really,
story.
Really clutch.
I mean, it's obviously a little sad, but it's the cutest story. So there was a woman who came in today, and she reported that she had fallen before, and like when you fall when you're older, that's a huge thing.
Really
we have to be
like, okay, my grandparents have fallen a few times, and it's always led to the hospital.
It could be like detrimental to like their health. So we asked them like, "Oh my gosh, what happened? Like, how did you fall?" And she was like, yeah, well, I was watching Jeopardy and I needed to grab something upstairs.
Oh, no.
So it got to commercial break. I ran upstairs and I wanted to make sure I got back in time before commercial break. So I ran back downstairs and I floored it. And I was like, this sweet. Cutie tried to make it in time for like the $100 question. She didn't want to miss anything. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so cute. But are you okay?
Yeah, please be.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think that's one of the that's one of my favorite aspects of it. I had an older gentleman today. He was like, "Yeah, every time I'm on the course, like on the golf course, and I swing a really bad hit on my my 9-iron or something. I don't know what the hell those clubs are. Every time I swing real bad and it's really goofy, my watch says, "Hey, I detected you falling. Are you okay?" And I was like, "That's hilarious, actually, because the force of which he swings it has to be pretty aggressive for it to be like, I think you fell."
So the NYPD shows up just to make sure he's okay with ambulance.
Yeah, it's hilarious. That's really cool. I love that you're a doctor. That's like one of the. I don't know any other doctors besides your friends, the friends that you've introduced me to.
That's true.
I don't know any other in my personal life any other people in my personal life that went to school for
to become
doctor
a doctor
stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I appreciate about our relationship the most, which we're not together, don't worry. I just know her from like a thing.
He's some guy that I know through some other guy.
Yeah, so one of the things I appreciate is that I get to ask you questions that I would never even know in a million years for like would have to Google it and maybe get the right answer. So like I love asking you about words. Sometimes I don't know what word it was, but I think it was like something to do with like it was like because there's a lot of vaccine talk out there. So I love just asking you things because you have like insider knowledge. Like you have all the studies. You had to study all the studies. So like it's really cool to like talk to you about that stuff because I don't have another venue, you know, for that to happen. So
I also like talking about it with you guys, people who aren't also non-medical professionals, just because I'm like, all right, well clearly we need to do a better job of educating the public then. So like if I can do this for my friends, make better decisions, like this is good too. Emily actually asked me a medication question today. I was like, yeah, I'm like the go-to person just in case you had a question.
It's really good because I trust you the most. So I'm glad everybody has to ask you because I don't know if any of our friends were doctors. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. That's really cool. How did you're a doctor, okay? So most people in that profession don't really have much opportunity to encounter anything creative or like explore anything creative. Yeah, or not even pursue, just explore, you know, just to find curiosity in that. Because most people who go to school for that are pretty consumed by school, or by their job, and also don't really have the urge to do that. But you have that. How did you encounter like your creativity? Like how did that happen?
Well, I was actually fortunate enough to always have like art class growing up. So in my middle school, we had art class, and I just knew, you know, like when you have like a natural talent, doesn't mean you're like actually amazing. No, yeah, but you're actually, it's easy to do something, and other people have to really go learn and to do it. I noticed that I had like some natural talent in art, but in high school, I also was able to take electives. So I took art history, I took ceramics, and I took like painting. Nice. So I had the option to like see if I liked it, and obviously I liked it. But then once you go into college, like there's no such thing as electives like that. But
they're just very different electives.
Yeah, your electives are related to the degree that you're going for. But I mean, I never really did anything on the side. It wasn't until Anthony like really wanted to pursue Project F.E.A.R, and I obviously wanted to be a part of it. Yeah, like I always took an interest, like music, like growing up in New York.
You
like
love
museums.
Music. Your music is like your thing too. But museums,
But like just anything in that realm of music, art, anything to be around creativity. Like I obviously took the opportunity to do it, but I knew it wasn't going to be or something that I could do full time just because of what I actually chose to do. Yeah. So being a part of Project F.E.A.R was a huge outlet that I don't think I really took advantage of or I really had the chance to take advantage of. And by chance, I don't blame it on Project F.E.A.R. I
No, for
blame
sure.
it
Yeah, of
on
course not.
me not having time
Yeah,
to really
yeah.
have space to think of anything
sure.
else.
Yeah, I mean,
Until
you were
like the
so
last
you were
year and
so
a half.
booked. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like I always try to take opportunities, especially being in New York and having like free reign of everything.
Yeah, we have everything.
But
here.
like to actually practice something, I don't think I did that until the past year. So
it's beautiful.
That's been nice.
Yeah, you've recently. I'm sure some people who are watching this are probably aware already, but recently you've been getting into painting and drawing and
literally any. I feel like this is something we're actually having in common now. Where, not that we don't have anything in common. I'm so sorry if you took it that way.
I obviously didn't, but yeah, continue.
But I'm literally dipping my toes into as many things as possible, and funnily enough, I think it's completely by accident. Like the sisters gave me the watercolors for my birthday this past year.
Shout out to the sisters.
Sisters, if you ever become patrons, I know you're a real sis. So.
You better become patrons with this episode. I swear to God.
We should record that and send
We'll
that to them and be like, we're done after this. But yeah, so they gave me the watercolors. And then after that, it was basically like a stream of testing out just different mediums. Like I had done painting. I knew I was never really that amazing at it yet. But to test out other mediums to be like, oh, am I just better at this? Does this fit me better than painting? Because if so, then maybe I'll really dive into that. But now it's become, it's there now. But if you look at all the art supplies that I have now, I have paint, watercolor, ink, charcoal, pastels, like pencils, magazines for collage, beads. Like I'm literally like mini Michaels in this little thing because I'm just trying to.
You get the art cart and everything.
Art cart. I should call it that. The art cart. Bart, the art cart.
Bart, the art cart. What's up, Bart? The art cart. I love it.
But yeah, just trying to see everything.
Barty the arty carty.
With a D too. Really
Cardi, like Cardi. So that's really fascinating because it shows that I feel like I feel like it just shows how important it is to human nature that like creation is a part of your life in some way. Because I feel like often your job is like, and I think it goes hand in hand with your job, which I want to get into like how you balance those things, but hand in hand with your job, I feel like you create solutions at your job. Like that's your job is to encounter a patient, diagnose exactly what they're going through, and concoct or create solutions that they can consume and like adjust and like fix their problems, you know, and if not fix their problems, adjust to those problems. And I think that that's so creative within itself. Like you have all of these set things and they're all very there's a lot of studies and there's a lot of set ways to go about it, but it at the end of the day, especially with medication, from what I've seen and what I've heard from you, it is kind of malleable. Like people can actually make decisions for people that are wrong. And you can make decisions for someone that directly help them or
harm them.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like with art, what's interesting is that when you make a decision on a canvas, it's not that it's wrong. It's just that it's not what you expected or it's not what you want. And that's the same feeling that you get when you give a wrong medication, but instead of like it just being like, let me start again, it's like, no, you just kind of messed them up a little bit, you know? So there's a weight to it, but there's still a relation. And I feel like they go hand in hand in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about finding the right solution. It's about finding creative solutions that work best suited to that person, you know, as an individual.
I have to confess something.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
So I kind of help run the Patreon to those out there.
Yeah.
And I did see that Anthony did ask a question. I took a peek, obviously, because I run the Patreon. God, here we go. But I don't know it word for word, but I knew it had to do with something related to my full-time job versus like what I do on the side, if you want to ask. Because I peeked at it and I never thought about it. Okay. But then I was like, wait, this is actually something related to his question. And I feel like we should talk about it now instead of later because I do want to like on the spot think about how my worlds collide, because I've actually been asked that question fairly often. I think Michael even asked me that question during Revival. He specifically asked, what do you feel, or how do you feel about the dichotomy of your life?
Okay.
So I never really thought that they really went together. I've actually always usually thought of them as separate.
Yeah.
But I don't think they come together creatively yet. But in terms of the way my mind is just now programmed, set to be how I trained it to be, what's really nice about being in healthcare and like translating it into creativity is that I'm always curious.
Yeah.
Like I always want to learn. And I think that's really great going into art, because you really want to learn the craft. And that's where I think I'm in right now. Like I'm curious enough in the art world to, obviously I know like I'm just starting out, but I'm curious enough to try everything and figure it out. And when it comes to being a creative director, I think what I do really well is manage and lead.
For sure.
So
you do that really well.
Yeah. And also constantly thinking. Sometimes I could be, not the best thing for people. I feel like I thrive in constantly thinking in the most productive ways possible. So when I come out of work, obviously shut that brain off. And then I'm thinking about Project Feel things of like, where do we want to be in the next month? Where do we want to be in the next year? How are we going to get there? This is what we're going to do to get there. Like I'm always on a path to make sure that we're doing the right things and we have the right people to be on the projects and think of creative ideas just as much as possible, because I'm constantly thinking and trying to, make a project that makes sense in what we're doing.
Yeah. And I honestly I feel like it's not even that you don't even really like shut your brain off to the other things as well, because you told me this recently, but you're like, you got really good at multitasking.
Oh
and,
my
like,
God.
You're able to, I feel like right now you're finding within yourself and within your productivity is that multitasking is a big part of it, because you're juggling a lot of things at the same time, dealing with a lot of deadlines, handling a lot of communication related things, pretty much all communication related things, making sure everybody's on top of what they're doing, but also thinking about your schedule for the next few days and like how you're going to manage work, and also thinking about things that you got to do for work because you're in training right now. Like I feel like you've gotten really good at multitasking, and I think honestly the biggest part of all of that is just like you have really well adjusted or you have a really solid foundation in time management. Like you don't really have to think too hard about managing your time, because you yourself are so productive that your time is managed well, and you actually have the opposite effect, which I think creativity has been a good part to like kind of balance you out. But before is like you wouldn't even think twice about like anything else that was happening outside of work. Like with TBHC, which was her first year of residency outside of high school, outside of college, was demanded all of your time. Like you were full time and more.
Yeah.
And I feel like now you're able to like balance creativity, and what creativity has given you is time to also relax and rejuvenate. But then, like it's like there's so much balancing going on with that stuff, I feel like.
Yeah. I'm trying to be, okay, well, this is my first week of like my new job. So I've been a little bad, but I want to try, and every day after work, instead of just my relaxing time being just like sitting and chilling, like I actually want to channel relaxation through one of the crafts that I'm taking up.
Yeah, for sure. It can be very relaxing at times.
Yeah. I mean,
drawing for me, it feels so relaxing to me.
Sketching to me now is relaxing because
well,
I'm actually
is
better.
What I mean, my bad. Yeah. Sketching.
No, you're good. But like painting still is a little like I have to be paying attention to what I'm doing, where I'm doing it. I gotta blend it like that. That's not really relaxing yet. But I'm trying to find like the outlet in which like creativity is actually like soothing, and I mean it's not like it's stressful, but like I obviously am in the program mode of I want to make sure it's right, and but it's not like about being right. That's a whole nother thing.
With sketching, it's like you just go, like you don't have to think about it. I want you to try the iPad so bad, baby. I have it. But
I know.
like,
I actually
it's what's beautiful about it is that it's even better than sketching on paper, because when you erase, it's completely gone. Like you don't have to worry about
efficient.
Smudges. You don't have to worry about anything. It's completely gone, and it's really cool. It's like it's just so soothing, and it feels really good to sketch on the iPads.
I'm really excited to actually try the iPad. I was actually talking to Natalie about this because her outlet is actually through iPad art, and I showed her your magic is real thing, and I'm like, isn't this the cutest thing you've ever seen? She's like, oh my god, I love doing the time lapse too.
Yeah, the time lapse is my favorite part.
Yeah. It also looks like color wise.
Yeah.
Really good.
Colors are beautiful.
If you figure it out.
You know what's my favorite thing about it too? You can make your own palettes. You know how you make your own palettes? You can upload a picture into Procreate, and it takes all of the colors in that photo and makes a palette of that.
That's cool.
So you can take like scenes from movies. You can take shots from like animation, your favorite animation.
That's so cool because you don't have to find the color.
That's incredible.
Did you ever hate when you were on a computer and you're like, I need to find the color, and you have to scroll up on like the colors thing? You're like, nope, that's not it. It's a little too dark, and it keeps going.
It's my least favorite thing.
So
I'm glad color numbers exist because you can just copy paste the numbers now.
Is that a universal thing?
Yeah, the color numbers are from across every platform. You can type in that code and it's that color.
Cool.
Right? That's how I have like the colors for IFY. I have them in my notes, like the exact color numbers.
Oh, yeah.
So that's always consistent.
Cool. Shit. We ever going to change the colors? Ooh, we should make a new logo. We should make a new logo with the iPad. What do you think, guys?
I was gonna do it. I was gonna do like an animation.
We should do like a poll.
Because you can do animation. So
yeah, it'd be cool to get like an intro.
I mean, I have an idea.
I feel you.
Shows up. So enough of work. We're not talking about work.
Oh my god! Come on, it's Friday. Jesus.
One of the things that we don't have in common is that you're pretty well traveled. You've been to a lot of freaking places. I know this is a pretty generic question, so I'm gonna ask you this question and then a more interesting question. Yeah, exactly. And then I'll ask you a more interesting question afterwards.
That's a good question because I feel like most people will say an answer based on like visually what's the best place you've been to, but that's a good question. I never thought about it because I really tie into like the activities that I did there too. Okay, best trip or like best actual location?
Best location.
Shoot. Best actual location.
See,
I think
you know how see someone who's been a lot of places, and when they have to go through their freaking mind Rolodex
to sort it.
It's crazy. Yeah, go. My favorite place has been Puerto Rico.
Can I do a
Go. Hurry up.
That was a great trip, baby.
Yeah, it was an amazing trip. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
Come on.
Go for it. You got
okay, can I do a childhood and as an adult?
Sure, yeah.
Because I feel like I can't cross out.
It's your show. Go for it.
Okay, childhood was definitely when I went to Hawaii. Because not only it's like beautiful, it's paradise. It is paradise, and it is so true that everyone there is so chill. They're so happy. They're just eating whatever they want, doing whatever they want. They're part of the States, but they're their own country essentially. Like that culture it's like Polynesia, isn't it? Essentially, but
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So that visually was so beautiful. That was probably my favorite like childhood vacation we did. Yeah. But as an adult, I have a huge love for Spain. Huge love for Spain, specifically Barcelona, because I've been there now twice. And what I love about Barcelona is that it's a city that is part of the beach, part of an actual city, and so close to the mountains, and
it's like everything you want.
You can get everything, and it's literally still the city of Barcelona. Yeah, you know how when we have to go to the mountains, we have to freaking drive an hour upstate. Yeah, and we're not even in New York City anymore. No, Barcelona is still mountains, beach, and city.
It's crazy.
And what's beautiful about it is that it's you could speak Spanish, you could see art. They're super into art. The food is amazing, but and it's kind of like Europe, but with a Spanish twang, because it's still like a Latin base.
Latin.
Yeah, but.
Well, I mean, nowadays it's not Latin, but you know.
Oh shoot!
They
talk
speak
about that controversy.
They don't even speak Latin. I'm lying.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It's
really cool. Can't wait to visit one day.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'll take you. I'll plan that trip too.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
More interesting question.
All right.
More interesting for me. What was the place, and it can be down to like a specific moment. What was the place that you went to that changed your perspective on life the most? Because I'm assuming that when you go, like, you see a lot of different things that really shift you in a different way. Like, you're like, oh my God, this is so fascinating. I never thought this would exist. I didn't know this existed. Now I do. What was one of the things that you saw or experienced or witnessed that like really changed your life?
Oh, that's a good question, because I feel like instinctually I actually come to one place, but I actually feel like Puerto Rico did a little bit of that too. And I think it was better to see it through your eyes. So like instinctually I think of Honduras, which is unexpected, but I did a medical mission trip there.
Your mission trip,
and you know, you just go with other students, but it was a third world country with, you get the bare minimum, but the reason why you go is because you want to help people. And it was just obviously eye-opening for apparent reasons of like, I'm helping these people, I'm helping the world, I'm doing the things that I love with people that are amazing, and it like fulfills you in a whole nother way, makes you want to do your profession even more. So like those are the obvious reasons why I love that. But because, you know, you're my baby. Puerto Rico, I feel like, did that and we kind of talked about this one time when we were talking about identity through culture. And I am 50-50 Puerto Rican, Filipino, and I feel like because I was 50-50 growing up in New York, I never really got the full Puerto Rican, never really got the full Filipino. Now that I'm an adult living in Bushwick, which is where most Puerto Ricans live in Brooklyn, it's really nice to be flooded with, you know, what half of your culture is, and going to like the motherland of where, you know, we're both kind of from, and seeing how passionate you were about it. Like I was going for the vacation, not even really thinking about my roots. You were thinking about vacation, but also found love in your roots. And I just thought that was so great to be in touch more with, like, you know, where my mom is from, where my grandma is from, where your whole family is
ancestors.
from. Yeah.
And like people long before us.
Yeah. And on top of that, the snorkeling trip really was like an eye-opening thing. Just like being in the ocean.
Yeah, it's crazy. Where
anything could chomp you, but also you're seeing the most beautiful things underwater that you never think twice to look in the water. Look twice.
Yeah, I'm mostly thinking about the things that chomp you. Yeah, that trip was wild. It's just, and I've been, I feel like recently I've been getting more in touch with, like, you know, that part of me, that side of me that is so like desperate, because of the trips and like, just realizing that, my which was similar to your upbringing, my culture was like about assimilation and like being malleable to whatever the culture is around you, and understanding that there is no like set one that is right or that is better, that it's just all, you know, they're all equal in different ways and they all have their beauties. But what that does to you is that you kind of like lose your footing a little bit, and you also like, it's hard to find pride in that, because like it's just hard to find pride in culture because you weren't really raised in a place that was prideful of your culture. Like it was,
or not even like prideful. Like I grew up in New York, which they call the melting pot, which is literally
your pride is the fact that everybody's here.
Everybody,
the culture is everybody.
Yeah.
Like, there's no one like
the culture is we are New Yorkers, and New Yorkers are a symbol of everywhere in the world. So where do you actually feel that represents you? And what's funny, what I thought was really sweet that you said was like, it's not about where your like genes come from, it's about where you're from, and you represent New York.
Yeah, you're from New York. Yeah, it's like I
was like, all right, I got
it's like
an
where
identity.
that's where you have your sense of pride. Yeah, I'm from Orlando, so I'm a little jealous, but you know, one day I'll have pride for my city. I think
you already have Pride.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful place.
Tell me all about Fringe.
I just want them to do a little bit better sometimes, you know, in certain areas. We'll get there. Yeah, it's really great. I also understand that you are not only well traveled, but you have also seen a lot of the most famous artists perform, like, ever. Like, you've seen almost everyone. I'm guessing.
I've seen a lot of big ones. Yes.
Before you name all the before you name drop all of them, I want to ask, what is one that you haven't seen?
That I want to see?
That you want to see? Yeah, that you want to see.
Yeah.
But dead or alive. Not just alive.
Oh, I mean, if we're adding the dead.
Yes. One that you haven't seen that you might not be able to see ever.
I would have loved to see Michael Jackson.
I didn't hear you say that.
That's my answer. I saw Janet Jackson. That's and really people were crazy, and I was like, "Wow, Janet got this much love. Good for her." Not saying that she's not huge, yeah, she got love, but I just didn't realize that she's had a huge.
She made what was her genre that she created?
I don't even know.
It was like a
pop something.
No, it was like I forgot what it's called. Anyway,
she has her own genre. I didn't know about that. Pump pop.
No, it was junk jam. I think junk jam. There was some no. Okay, maybe not a genre. I think it was like I don't know what exactly it was, but she created something that was like pretty popular. But yeah, go for it.
Cool.
Michael Jackson, yeah.
Okay, Michael Jackson definitely won.
I agree. I would. That sounds like a trip. Like the amount of Twitter videos that circulate, like of moments from one of his concerts. And
he's also like a performer.
No, that was his specialty. That was his thing.
Okay, we're going on to people who are alive that I have seen that I feel like would be on par with him. I have seen Beyonce, and Beyonce is a performer.
She's the closest you could probably get to a Michael Jackson concert. I was gonna say,
she was dancing her ass off. Outfit changes. She sings like a goddess. She also has so many hits, a huge crowd following. Like everybody
she has everything,
loving her. Yeah. And yes, I love Beyonce, but it wasn't until I saw her that I was like, she deserves every single ounce of praise that she gets because she puts on a show, and she is like, think about how long she's been famous. Like, think about Destiny's Child.
She's incredibly proficient.
Yeah. She has always made hits, and she's doing great. She's doing great. So if I've seen her show, I feel like Michael Jackson would be the male version of that.
For sure, and I agree.
Still got the hits, still got the dancing. Is a huge pop culture icon. Like,
and people forget that his voice is like incredible.
Super good.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and like so original from like his time. Like men weren't really singing in that way.
Like almost all music, like almost all music when it comes to R&B, hip hop is so Michael Jackson inspired, and so like you can see his imprint on like all of music. Similar to like, just like he is that genre pretty much. Like everybody kind of imitates him in a way. He's one of those artists. Yeah, I agree. I wish he didn't pass away. That's unfortunate. I mean, I feel like he'd be going through a lot right now because, he'd be going through a few court trials. But
I would also really would have loved... Oh, I was actually thinking about this the other day. I would have loved to have seen a rock band back in the day when, like, rock was up and coming and you were, like... and like drugged up, having the greatest time of your life. I would have loved to have seen like Queen. I love Queen.
Agreed. I would have.
That would have been huge. They were the first band to like sing in like a pop rock kind of way. Freddie Mercury was a performer. He was gay, wasn't he?
They had the most. Yeah.
He was a front man who was gay, and
they had the most varied form of like music.
Yeah,
like,
they took rock and they took pop and they meshed it in a way
they took
that
opera,
was.
They took electronic. Yeah, they did everything.
I would have loved to have gone to like Woodstock or something, seen them, and just been a part of that experience because I feel like that would have been insane.
I agree.
Rock back in the days, that was pretty cool.
I am also contrasted her I'm also a contrast to her in this one because I've seen Chance the Rapper and Tori Kelly.
And is that it?
Anthony Ramos, but it's not like big. He's
that's
big,
you.
but it's not
that's
big.
You.
It was a nice one. It was a nice concert. I've seen a few other people. I've seen Clark Beckham live, but that wasn't like a big concert. He's not a big artist, but
yeah.
I mean he's famous, but
I think
that's it.
I think my 1 in a million performance that I've seen is obviously Frank Ocean.
Yeah. I can't believe you've seen Frank Ocean live.
I can't believe I've seen Frank Ocean. I can't believe
that's like a gem nowadays. That's like a
during
freaking,
Blonde.
You know how many
during Blonde.
You know how much money people would pay to see that? Like
I can't believe I've seen that. I want to show you videos because his voice. I think I have shown his voice is exactly like what you hear in the recordings.
I know. I've heard. I've also seen.
Yeah.
Seen videos.
I was super lucky to see that.
Man, he's so insane. So insane.
Do you want another glass, by the way?
What? Oh yeah, let's pour it up.
Let's
girl.
pour it. Okay.
Let's pour it up. We're here for a long
Tell them
time.
what we're drinking.
We're really here for a long time and a good time. We're drinking what is it?
Rosé. Yes Way Rosé.
Yes Way Rosé. That sounds like a David Rose one. Yes Way Rosé. That's a good segue. We've watched a lot of TV shows.
I know.
I can't even say a lot for us.
A lot.
Because, you never had time and I never watched shows. So a lot for us. We started with Westworld.
Westworld kicked it off.
Then we went to Ozark, right? Then we went to Schitt's Creek.
No, we did some in-betweeners that we fell off and we're like, nah, that's not for us.
His Dark Materials.
Yes.
His Dark Materials kind of freaking disappointing.
Mr. Robot. Oof, Snooze Fest. Okay,
to be fair, we watched the first episode.
No, we saw the first 3.
Okay, we saw the first 3 and it was just not
a snooze fest.
It's not what people thought it was.
Don't watch
what? Not even say don't watch it. If you're gonna watch it, you might have to stick around for longer because I've heard people say good things, but we just didn't. We didn't like it. That's just fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happens. Then we got to Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
Favorite show.
That's your favorite show?
Favorite comedy.
Oh yeah.
Ozark is my favorite show
ever? Not really.
Technically,
right?
yeah, it's a sitcom.
Okay, that's definitely mine. That beats Parks and Rec, which is funny because I love Parks and Rec.
That beats The Office for me too.
Yes.
Schitt's Creek is freaking hilarious. That's one of my. It's so consistent. It's so sweet to the point. Doesn't stay for too long.
Yeah.
But also leaves you heartbroken when
even
it leaves.
The documentary at the end where you're like, oh my god.
Oh, that documentary made me cry. Everything made me cry.
So good.
David Rose, my favorite.
We're on Scenes of a Marriage, which we have to watch.
From a Marriage. We're on Scenes from a Marriage.
What time is it?
We're on the last episode aired Sunday.
Watch it tonight?
Yeah, we're gonna watch it tonight. We're gonna watch the last episode tonight. Oscar Isaac, Jessica Chastain. I take my breath away.
They do so well. You know what's funny?
Oh my God, it's incredible.
I always thought was doing 100%, but then, and I thought she was doing good, but not as good as him. But then you said something about how if you think that the worst character, the bad character is, you don't like them, they're probably doing a good job. I'm you're right, because I actually dislike her in that, but it's because I dislike her character in there, and she's doing a great job.
That's a distinction that I think is super important to make when you're reviewing art and stuff, and when you're specifically watching shows and you're not really understanding why you, if you're not understanding why you hate this character and hate the way they're acting it out, it's probably because you have a personal attachment to the way, or you have a personal, not attachment,
to the story,
you have a personal feeling as to how they're treating the other person. So of course you're going to naturally dislike them. And I think that opens you up a little bit more, because then you're like, ooh, you are doing a fantastic job, and I hate you even more for it. It makes you even more I hate that you're doing that so well, because they're so.
It's so hard to like the bad character. Yeah,
but also they both just mess each other up. He also has some tendencies that are very
dismissive in a way.
They throw her back into loops sometimes, or he can get out of something or get to a point, but then he get kind of throws it back, but I think she's definitely way more in the wrong than he is. And also, sadly, because
we can't reveal anything.
Yeah, I know.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, no, watch the show.
HBO Max.
And don't let our opinions inform you.
Yeah.
Please watch it non-biased and like really try to see both sides, both perspectives, because there is another side to that story. It's not just her being terrible the whole time. It's actually, she actually has reasons for what she's doing, and like they both.
It's messed her up to a point where it's you can't even feel sorry for her, but like we actually should, because like at some point it from where the origin is, it's she thinks it's from him. Mm-hmm. So like
that's enough. No more.
Oh, sorry.
No more. Okay. No more.
Next.
It's a fantastic show. Ozark season 4 is coming out. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
We're gonna go wild. Heart pumping. I'm
on it every freaking episode release. I don't know if they're dropping the whole season.
It's a part 2. It's a part 1 and 2 series. Did you know that? Yeah,
but I don't know if they're dropping the whole part 1. You know, because Netflix does it different, where they just drop it all in one. If they do, we're
binging it. You don't want to like take your time.
We're gonna watch as many episodes as we can at each time. Okay, if we can watch, if we can watch 2, we're gonna watch 2. I know. Okay, They're long. It's fair. It's fair that they're long. Okay, so we don't have to binge. Okay, I would like to stretch it out as well. Stretching it out is actually kind of nice. It's so the reason why we haven't watched a lot of shows is because she has a job. And it was very demanding when she did have a job, and she was in Jersey for a long time as well, so we never got to really binge shows because we had to watch a show and then she had to like work on something, but it helps a lot. I don't know if you guys do this. Try watching a show and not watching it all in one sitting. It's actually a beautiful experience.
Like, do it actually weekly, like how it would be released on TV.
Things get to sit, especially the shows that were released on TV, because I feel like a lot of the times when shows are aired that way and you watch them back in a different way, it does change the impact of it a little bit. I feel like watching it weekly or even giving it a few days, it really changes things because you have time to ruminate. You have time to sit with it. And I feel like it kind of molds in your head. And by the time you watch it again, you're like, oh my God, I forgot. Oh, shoot, I forgot this all even happened. Like,
not even that. I feel like it really creates a great anticipation for the episode. And I think that makes it even more enjoyable to watch. Because you're like, what's going to happen next? Like, you're so invested in it. And I think that's another great thing that comes with it. So look at that.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely still binge if I had the opportunity to, but I agree that if you have like a reason to, find a reason to. One, just don't binge watch shows because it's probably not too healthy to just sit down all day and watch one show. If you do it all the time, I feel like if you don't do it all the time, that's fine to have your, your
everybody
days.
Has a bender.
Everybody got your days, right?
Whatever.
But if you do it all the time, I would suggest like trying to do it differently because I think it changes the way you consume media. And it changes your the way you absorb, like the way you like retain the information afterwards. I think it just changes things for you. So, as you guys might know or might not know, depending on who you are, you're also working again. You're back to work after.
I am in the workforce again.
After a few months.
I am.
And also technically after 8 years of education. Yes. You are a fully licensed, fully independent pharmacist working at a clinic. You are in the geriatrics field.
Where?
In Bronx.
Good job, baby.
And yeah, how does it feel to have like a big salary, like real job where you're getting compensated for the amount of work you're doing? Like, how does it feel to be in the workforce as like
where I was striving
a studied and respected pharmacist? Yeah,
it feels really nice just because like I work with physicians all the time, so just to be on the same level and the same conversations for people to actually prefer to have pharmacists take over some things. Like obviously career-wise, I'm at a really great first job into the workforce, but yeah, it's really nice to now make a salary that is obviously reflective of the time and effort that I give to my job and to the patients that I have. But also moving back to New York has been a huge like just shift in happiness. I feel like I was happy in Jersey.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you're happy everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're very happy person.
I'm happy in Jersey, but like home is home, not like where my heart is, but also like where my heart is. So like being closer to you and like everybody else, and also getting like a place that is so perfect for me, especially if it's like my first apartment in New York, and being in Brooklyn now and really getting to. So I think what's nice about the salary that I have now is like you get a lot of freedom with how do you want to navigate your life next. And I'm very happy with where I chose to live with the salary that I am making now. And I do think that like it contributes to happiness, like where you want to move forward, having space, really establishing yourself and where you want to be. But like job wise, going back to the job question, I love meeting new people.
Yeah, for sure.
I love like getting back into the swing of patient care. I mean, this is where I was always training to get to. So now that I'm finally starting there and at a great, first job, like it's all good. It's all good.
It's all good in the hood. That's beautiful. I love it. Congratulations. We should be celebrating all the time for
Thanks,
it.
baby. We're celebrating tonight.
We are celebrating tonight.
Chink, chink.
Chink, chink. So, I'm gonna ask you to pass me your phone. Okay, real quick. Just nothing crazy. I just wanna see your phone real quick.
Uh-oh. What you looking at?
No, I'm not gonna look at anything.
Oh, is it the Patreon?
No. Why would it be the Patreon?
Why would it be the Patreon?
It's not like I'm only subscribed to the $5 tier.
Wow. Can you believe that? $5 tier. You know what's funny? This is about me being a creative director, and we barely talked about that.
It's true. Oh my gosh. Okay, so towards the end of the episode, we'll get there. So I was just checking. Which, guys, if you're watching this episode and you're a Patreon subscriber, please ask questions, guys. Like because recently we had a good response to the first few episodes. People were asking questions genuinely.
We were also posting on Instagram.
But the last few episodes, I think we've had a downtick in how many people ask questions, and it's usually just the people who run the Patreon asking questions. If you're watching this and you're a member of our Patreon, we encourage you to use what you're paying for. This is like a prime opportunity to ask a question to somebody. And if you want to ask it anonymously, do it anonymously too. You can just DM us and say you wanted to do it. Just message us. You can directly message Project F.E.A.R. But please use this feature because it's something that we want to keep for sure. And the higher ups have been looking down. They're ready to cut some things. We're ready to make some big changes. So I gotta use these features because I'm gonna get chopped, guys. Come on, use the features. We have the $20. If you're a $20 patron, you get the call-in feature. You can call into these things.
Could you imagine who would you have wanted to call in with me?
Talking, and you'll be talking.
Who would be a huge surprise? Could you imagine if my parents were like, "Can we call in?" I would be like,
so odd. They would have to be Patreon subscribers first, and I don't even know if they're not. They don't even know what that is.
They don't even know what Patreon is.
But yeah, so please, guys, use them. But yeah, the reason why Dr. Christine Arquero is on this episode is because she is a creative director for Project F.E.A.R. She is the mind behind the Open Air Gallery, Love Thyself, Revival, and she is a big part of our upcoming event. She's a big part of our upcoming event that has been announced as F.E.A.R. That is October 28th. Oh
yeah, it's out now. Thursday, October 28th, guys.
The first half of the day is going to be a beautiful pop-up where we're going to have some beautiful activities and events. And then at night we're gonna have the actual gallery. The gallery is gonna be active, and we're gonna have some live performances as well. It's gonna be a beautiful night with drinks, and with good times and lots of friends, lots of new people as well. I'm gonna see if I can get some Apple friends there.
Good. I'm gonna see if I can get the sisters at an event finally.
Yeah, true. That'd be really awesome. If you're watching Sisters, which I'm sure you are, come to the event. Yeah, because you're a creative director. How does it feel to have that outlet? You know, because that's something that not a lot of people get to do. I've been an artist for a pretty long time, not a long time, but a good amount of time now. And it wasn't until Project F.E.A.R that I got to really exercise my creative boundaries and like really push those and like see exactly how I can attack these and like projects and like really be a big part of each of these projects. So how does it feel just, you know, coming into it and taking that role? Because the reason why you were the head of those projects, or like one of the heads of each of those projects, is because you took the initiative to not only curate the idea but organize almost from beginning to end each of these projects. So how does it feel to be able to do something like that, you know?
You know, it's funny, when I'm thinking about the idea, I'm never actually thinking about like the entirety of it. I'm just thinking about literally
step by step, the day to day.
Yeah, like the next step that I got to do. But going back to like, I'm obviously not trained in any art, but what I am trained in is my brain.
Yeah.
Right. So like to think all the time and think of these creative ideas, I think that's where I thrive. Like to think of all the new ways that we could do something just as fun, just as interactive, just as filled with love, art as much as possible. And we know so many talented people that I'm like, okay, let's get them, let's do it. I can put everything together to make sure this happens. So I think I found something that I was really good at in terms of being creative without having to like produce content. Yeah. Just being the mind behind something is actually something that I know I can continue to do.
Yeah.
And having Project F.E.A.R has been really great, because seeing the projects through, like I never tally the things that I thought of, but you know, recently the projects that you just named have been a lot of the projects that we've done recently, and it's been really nice to kind of see it forward and see the things that we do. And what's funny is, totally accidentally again, like she was an all-female led event. Love Thyself was an all-female led event, and I don't want to give too much away, but just a little surprise, all of the visual artists for F.E.A.R are female. So it's been really cool to be a part of a very female led event. And I think that's very representative of like who I am, obviously, like very female driven, strength, power, blah, blah, blah. But it's been really nice to also be the one spearheading those kind of things too, and like giving them an outlet opportunity as much as possible. So
I think it's also a product of like, because of how many events we've been doing recently where it's mostly female led. It's like, I mean, most of our most talented artists are female. So whenever we think of people, like the first, you know, few people are always female at this point, because we made such an effort. And I also think that like at this point it should just be normal. That's probably going to be normal that's always like that, you know, that like at every event. Like we don't have to call them female led events anymore. That's just kind of like something that it's expected sometimes, you know. And just like if for men, like when men lead in a whole event, it's not called a male led event. Like there's no reason to, because that's usually the norm. But when you adapt a culture that where both are the norm and both can be they coincide, and then it's not really, it doesn't have to be intentional, because we're not shutting down one side, you know. It's like that should be the culture, that should be the norm. And when, you know, one day when we're doing
it shouldn't have to be
stuff,
a special event.
Yeah, we don't have to say like, oh, look at this, it's a bunch of females. Like, no, it's just like, yeah, that's what you get sometimes, and that's really cool that you get that without having it be like this big thing, you know. I think that's just a testament to what we've been doing recently. So I really like that. Soon we're gonna have to start some men's rights campaigns.
They would be.
That's the ideal world. That's the ideal world we're fighting for. Men's rights. The day and age where we are the oppressed people.
As you guys as housewives, that would be great. I would love to be a housewife.
I'm already running in that direction. Trust me. Like with the way my current trajectory is, if I'm not popping in a year, I'm a freaking housewife, dude. Forget it. I'm a house husband. Not a housewife. That's
house
derogatory.
husband.
I'm a house husband. But yeah. So it's the end of the episode. We're gonna top it off real quick. We're past an hour already. We've been talking for too long.
Talking my
the
ear
higher
off.
ups are above me yelling at me. I'm already getting
down.
spammed.
There's gonna be 3 different audio clips.
I'm already getting
people
spam text messages, guys.
Oh
so
my
like,
God. George is gonna be furious.
I'm about to get fired. Okay.
I hope he hears this.
Listen, I want you to end it off with
pressure.
Just something that you've learned recently. You know, something that life has taught you. And something that you wish to impart to the people that are listening to us today. No pressure. Take your time with the answer. You don't have to. You don't have to.
It's funny because Anthony actually asked me something about what I learned about something through like a recent thing that I've gone through, and I would say also being a part of our friend group and being a part of a friend group with a lot of artists that are striving to be somewhere. I would say that. You gotta dream big. I don't know if you hear that music.
I wonder if they hear that.
There's a party going outside. Thanks for encouraging me. But you have to dream. You have to dream big, and dream and continuously dream bigger. And then 2, with those dreams, you owe it to yourself to put in the effort and time that your art deserves to get where you want to be. And I think those are 2 important things you always have to keep in mind. Like, the reason why you chose to be in art was because you love it, and you need to make sure that like that love is tended to. So do what you love, dream big, and push harder, because you need to give yourself, you know, like the attention that it deserves in order to see it through. I guess that's it. Do I get to kiss the host?
I feel you.
The one and only person who gets to do it?
Okay, we can't say the one and only because you never know.
Whoa.
We're going to cut it right before it happens.
Go 90, go 10.
I'm sure people hated that. Thanks for being here, baby. Thanks for being here, Christine.
I was kind of nervous doing this. I'm not gonna lie.
Thanks, doctor. You got it.
Doc.
All right. She's got to tend to a few of my wounds, so see you next time.